We meet every Monday during the session. Every city that belongs to the league can send 3 members, and you vote on which positions you take. There's debate back and forth because cities don't always agree. You've got growing cities that are going to see something different than an established city, right? There's all these takes on these bills that are happening, and it's interesting.
Welcome to Herrimanology,
the official podcast to keep up with Herriman City.
We'll take you inside the city, explore the latest news and updates, show you how your government operates, and discuss the issues that affect us all. Now, here are your hosts talking all things Herriman on Herrimanology.
All right, welcome to Herrimanology. It is Thursday, January 22nd already. It's almost to the end of the first week of the legislative session. It's a bit of a chaotic time. I can't even imagine what your calendar looks like right now.
We won't look at it right now. Yeah, it's day by day right now.
It's kind of funny because we were actually because today was kind of full, we were going to push this to tomorrow, and then tomorrow filled up, so we pushed it back to today and cramming it. I don't know when we're going to post this. It might be on Thursday. It might be Friday. We'll see. We'll see when it happens.
I'm expecting Friday, and that's okay.
Which is totally just how it's going to be. It's busy in at least some measure because of the legislative session going on.
Right.
Figured we could talk about that today. It's kind of a light topic week anyway in terms of what's going on externally anyway. So we figured this is all you've been thinking about and doing for the last week. Let's talk about what it looks like and why it's so crazy.
Absolutely. Yep. As we know, it just started Tuesday. First day was on Tuesday. It's 45 days. It's a sprint. I mean, it is a sprint. There are already 500 bills, over 500 bills. There will be more, right?
Seem to want to break a record every year.
Every year. I wouldn't be surprised to see it clear 1,000 this year, right? I could give my opinion on how many bills, but we'll leave it at that. Because you have to watch them, right? You have to watch every bill. So really, it just, like I said, we just finished day 3. I just pulled back in from up there, from my second day up there, and it's crazy.
So let's talk about why it's crazy on our end. So we have, you mentioned the 500 some odd bills. There will be more. And not all of those affect the city of Herriman government, but a lot of them can, or a lot can affect, anything from property taxes to water, to data privacy, to housing, to all these different angles and many, 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 many more. Public safety, and we have to keep an eye on all of them.
Right.
And, when a bill gets introduced by a legislator, a representative or a senator, sometimes we'll have an opinion on that and how we think it's going to affect the city. And, sometimes we'll support the bill as it's currently written, or we'll have some concerns with it and, maybe want to contact our legislators and, try to see if it can be better for, the city of Herriman or our residents, or that's just kind of how the process starts.
Right, absolutely. And I'd say one thing that hit me hard today is, once I took office here, right, and got involved up there, I have to wear a different hat up there. I don't have time to follow the stuff that would affect me personally, maybe, right, as much as I would like, right? We're following so much legislation that I'm trying to represent the city and other cities on right now. So we're so laser focused on that right now. It's hard there's so many other bills that don't affect cities too, but we are so focused on anything that would impact time of our staff, anything that would require ordinance changes or updates. And I think the league, we belong to the League of Cities and Towns. Almost every city does, right? And they create a, kind of a watch list of things they're watching, a bill tracker. And last year, they tracked over 500 of the bills. Out of 900 and some, they had to watch 500 that affected cities. So we're watching a lot of bills. I've learned to read bill language. It's not English, I don't think, right?
Gotta love legalese.
Yes, but yeah. So we're trying to watch the cities. We're focused on the city stuff. We can't focus on, there's a lot of other issues that are up there, right? But we're not focused on the school stuff. We're focused on city stuff.
Yep. And you mentioned the league. That's a great example of a group that, if one city opposes or supports something, that's one thing. But if collectively all the cities or the majority of cities support or oppose something, that could have a more powerful voice. So, this is a formal group, but when you talk through bills, I don't know how frequently you meet during the session. I don't know if it's every week or something.
Every week. Yep.
I've been to one of those meetings. It was a few years ago, but what is that? What are those meetings like? You just talk about bills and, come up with positions after discussion. How does that work?
Great question. That's exactly what we do. We meet every Monday during the session. It's what we call the Legislative Policy Committee. Every city that belongs to the league can send 3 members to this, and you become the voting member, and you vote on which positions you take. So for us, because I'm on the board this year, I don't count. I still am a voting member, but it doesn't count towards our 3, so we actually have 4. So 4 out of the 5 of us actually get a vote on the council. And we take positions on, the league will go through, the staff will go through, they'll go through the bills that probably aren't controversial. They understand the ones they're getting a lot of pushback on, which are probably require a close vote. We ratify these others just to be safe, but there's debate back and forth, because cities don't always agree. You've got bigger cities and smaller cities that might see something differently. You've got, growing cities that are going to see something different than an established city, right? There's all these takes on these bills that are happening. And so sometimes you have to vote and take a majority, and sometimes there's not a majority, so we take no position. Sometimes we'll start against and, opposing it, and then the legislators will work with us to try to get us to just stay neutral on it. It's interesting. The league has a lot of influence up there, and we're trying to fight to keep, really, I think we're trying to protect our cities, protect local control. The government closest to the people governs best, still, in my opinion. So I think we're still always fighting for that control. But so really, that body meets every week, and we take positions, and we've been opposed. I mean, we've been, against some of the league's positions at times. There was that retail incentives bill in 2022 or 23, I can't remember, HB 151, that we were the only city at the end fighting that bill, right? And the league stayed out of it because they had a majority vote, but it affected our city negatively more than others. So we had to kind of fight it alone a little bit, and that's not on them. They have to take a majority approach on that. But for the most part, there's very few that actually get to that, but it's a fascinating process to watch every week. And they've got a staff that watches all these bills and attends committee hearings, and it's interesting.
Yeah. And when we say, if there's an opposed position or something, and when we say we want to work with the legislator work with us, that means, hey, here are the things we have concern with. Is there any way you can, still introduce this bill in the legislature, but maybe strike this thing, but still accomplish your goal, and this thing maybe can alleviate some of our concerns? Is there anything else other than that in terms of like working with the legislator? No,
because they're really good. Today I got messages from 3 of our legislators on a bill they're looking at just to understand our position. They kind of had a take on it and wanted to make sure that they were representing our community on that. So that stuff means a lot, right? It's, it's not politics. It's really, they're representing our community, and they do that pretty well out here.
Yeah. And then, as all this is going on, the process for a bill, it's written, it's numbered, given a number. So it's HB, let's say 123. So House Bill 123 or Senate Bill SB 123, whatever. I'm just throwing a random number out there. And then that gets introduced in that chamber. So if it's a House bill written by a House of Representative member, it's introduced in that, and then it goes to a committee, and there are a whole bunch of different committees. There's, I took a screenshot of a list here. I'm not going to read through all of them, but before the bill goes back for a final vote before the whole chamber again, it has to go through this committee and be approved by the committee. And these different legislators, representatives or senators can be on various committees. So there's like education, there's business, labor and commerce, judiciary, health and human services, government operations, transportation, just a lot of different types of topics, right? That these bills, depending on their topic, will go through these committees. And that is, in my opinion, a prime opportunity for the general public to be aware of a bill and go and make your comment, because you have a chance there, in a lot of cases, to go up to a microphone and speak to this committee about your opinion about a given bill. That's, in my opinion, probably the best time for public comment.
100%. Get it at committee, right? And it's unique. We've been highlighting that up there my first 2 days, is you don't have to go to the Capitol anymore. You can actually testify virtually right now. You can go on, find the link to that committee hearing, get in line online, and they'll call you and let you testify online. It's very few states have that ability still. Utah is unique in that way. So you can get involved sitting on your couch here in Herriman if you have a concern about a bill in a committee. And so please, we've seen a lot of bills die in committee, a lot of bad bills die in committee. And so you can kill bills in a committee setting.
Yeah. After a committee, let's say a bill gets approved, it goes back to that house for, they call it a second reading. Basically, it's a report on the committee's findings.
Right.
And then it comes back a third time called, you can figure it out, third reading, where it's up for a vote. Mm-hmm. And then the whole chamber will approve or deny it. And then if it's approved, then it goes to the other chamber and repeats that same process.
Absolutely.
And then after a bill is voted on by both chambers, if it's approved, it goes to the governor's desk where he has the chance to sign or veto.
Right.
And it rinse and repeat 900 times.
Right. And it's another thing. There's not every bill gets heard in a committee. There are rules committees that, there's a rules committee and a rules chair that decide which bills even move forward to a committee. So it's not all of those, let's say 1,000 bills this year are going to get heard in a committee. There's not enough time.
Yeah.
Right. So they've got to prioritize what they hear, and it becomes a political, I can't imagine the infighting that goes on up on the Hill, right? It's politics for sure, but it's, again, they start suspending rules towards the end and going faster, and it's just like, I think the state of the state is tonight. So I was in the House hearing today, and anyway, so they suspended and said, we'll be back at 6:15. I thought, well, that's late for a third night in to already be a late night, but they're coming back for the state of the state in a joint session, they call it.
So as far as Team Herriman goes, we have pretty much all the department managers, directors, senior staff, as well as the city council keeping an eye on all the bills that they can. And, for me personally, I'm keeping an eye on things that will affect the communications department or public information. So things that will affect, city websites or data privacy, or sometimes there's a social media regulation bill or things like that. So I keep an eye on that, and our water people keep an eye on water bills, and housing bills are often not only your eyes, but our whole senior staff, our building department. So it's kind of a team effort, and we all kind of talk together about, here's how we think this could affect Herriman City. If it helps us, then, we recommend a support position. And if we think it hurts us, we'll try to work with that. But that's just kind of a snapshot of just why it's crazy. It's just going all day, every weekday,
right,
until it's done.
Yep. And we have a lobbying team that we do pay. That's a budget item every city has. We have a lobbying team that supports us up on the Hill. Right. I ran into them today a couple of times, and they're great. They're reaching out to us. So it's a real team effort to watch everything going on. Texts are flying, calls are flying constantly. We're just trying to keep, it's really about trying to keep the, just a good life for our residents out here.
Yeah. Well, hopefully that's a decent snapshot. Hopefully it didn't confuse people too much, but it's fascinating if you dig into it a little bit. And you'll see some news articles pop up here and there about one bill or another, and sometimes they're interesting sounding bills that really never go anywhere. Mm-hmm. And sometimes there are other ones that are bigger topics that more people are curious about, that they do go the distance, so to speak. But there are a lot of bills that never get talked about in the media that still impact our lives.
Right. And if you see anything, please let us know. If if our residents see anything they're concerned about that might affect anything we can impact, then please let us know. We're watching, but we're not perfect. We might miss stuff, but let us know. We're up there. We're fighting. We're battling. It'll be a busy 45 days, but a rewarding 45 days.
Yeah. Well, I was hoping for the podcast today to do a topic other than this to give you a mental break, but unfortunately we just dove deep into it.
Well, it's interesting. I think we've talked about this, but I have a new role this year, right? I'm the second vice president of the Utah League of Cities and Towns. And so I've tried to spend more time up there intentionally, just because it's a new role. I've got to be super involved. And so I spent some time in some meetings today I probably never would have, right? But catching up on bills. And so I like it more this year, honestly. I mean, there's of course there's the bills I'm curious about, but the process is fascinating to me more and more as I spend some time. So I encourage you, if you have one day, a couple hours to go, just wander through that Capitol. It is buzzing, the whole session, hundreds of people around. It's a fascinating process.
And it's a public process too. You don't have to wear a suit. You don't have to be a special VIP. You don't have to have some time. You can just go and be a part of it.
Yes. Believe me, Trust me, they're all, yes. No requirements on that.
You don't
Yes.
even have to stay outside in the various protest groups, or
Yes, absolutely.
you can go be a part of it. So
Absolutely.
anyway, the only other thing we had to mention was the Yeti Hunt is still ongoing. We talked about that quite a bit, but it's done on Monday. Monday's the final multi-stage hunt, so hopefully you can be a part
again.
of that.
Yeah, it's been fun again. Yep.
So good time. We even have a news station that's interested in covering it this year, so we'll see if that ends up being a thing.
Interesting.
But yeah, Yeti Hunt's ongoing, legislative session's ongoing, and a lot of other things. So anyway, thanks for, especially today, taking some time out doing the podcast.
It's good to get back. Yep.
Thank you for listening and watching. If you have a question, as always, we're happy to read it and address it. Communications@herriman.gov. Send us an email, and we'll talk about it at some point. With that, we'll catch you next time.